Wholeness, beautiful beings. Welcome to my channel. My name is Rashida Silvertree, and today's topic is of spells and rituals. Is magic really just a bunch of BS? Is magic really just a bunch of BS? And I say this because, for those of you, and to my audience specifically, I'm going to assume most of you are very much on the path of consciousness, meaning self-development, self-love, the evolution of your consciousness. You're really trying to do the inner work. That's what I'm hearing when I read your comments and your responses and your engagement with me, is most of you in the comment section are really about that life, right? You're really about, transcending and alchemizing your life in a way where it benefits you and thus benefits your community and benefits the world and benefits the human collective when we're doing our individual internal work. And so with that being said, we know about this whole new agey spiritual community type of stuff, and if magic is real. Yes, it is. And not in the hocus pocus, burning candles, lighting sage, buying every crystal out of that's grown in the earth, okay, that's been mined from the earth. What else is like a hippy dippy new agey kind of thing that people make fun of, or astrology, or new moon, full moon? Like, these are all, I guess, the material aspects of it. But I choose to focus more on the unseen, not the seen. There's almost like this aesthetic obsession with spiritual, magical awakening and spiritual magical practices. Like, you have to have a certain aesthetic, you have to have a cauldron, and you have to have a sage, and you have to have your tarot cards, and you have to have tons of crystals, and you have to have tons of prayer beads, and you have to have a tons of candles, and your astrological chart mapped out for the next 20-30 years. That part can be a bunch of BS if you take out the intention behind what you're doing, the why. And when I say I focus primarily, my practice, I focus primarily on the unseen, it's all about what's going on in my energy vortex, my mind, my heart, and my body. The electromagnetic field, okay? It's just my short phrase for electromagnetic field is, or EMF, it is the energy vortex. We all have it, okay? It's a simplified version of that so that you can understand what I'm saying. And so when I am focusing in on what's going on in my internal mental world, what's going on in my internal emotional world, what's going on in my internal physical world. And we all have that, especially with women, with our wombs. We take in a lot, right? Human beings, we take in and absorb a lot of energy. And a lot of energy gets stuck within our energy bodies, right? And so a lot of that is left unseen. Like, you can't see thoughts, but you're thinking, and they're powerful. You can't see intentions, but you can feel the intention behind with what you intend to do or what other people intend to do. Your intuition, right? You can't really see energy in the sense of, it's right there in front of your face. Now, yes, there are many accounts. I have personal accounts and many accounts of spiritual experiences per se, but that's not what I really want to focus in on, because I believe that we are in a very magical world where it's very magical, incredibly magical. For example, I'll tell you this. When you're watching TV and there's a jingle that's coming on, and you automatically just sing along with it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it. And then you see the little sigil, the little golden arches. That's a sigil. The golden arches. You're visually seeing the sigil, which has a powerful meaning, yellow and red, right? Which is the lower chakras. That's food. That's cravings. Anytime you see a red, an advertisement, and yellow, that stimulates food and consuming, right? And then you hear the jingle. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. Marketing and advertising are, I think, one of the most powerful magical practices that society uses to generate financial abundance from people. And people don't even think. They don't even know why they're driving to Mickey D's. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm hungry now, right? That's magic. That's a form of magic. Magic is energy manipulation. The ability to take energy and manipulate it to receive something or to give off something. You're receiving energy, or you are releasing energy towards something with very powerful intentions. Mickey D's wants you to eat their food. So they will do anything to get you to eat their food. And then they have an actual avatar, I would say, or a entity, maybe. What's Ronald McDonald? Come on, guys. Ronald McDonald, the clown. Ronald McDonald, the clown, is made for the kids because they have to get to your children, right? All that I'm saying isn't anything new. But it's like when people say, oh, magic is, that new age is BS, that's not real, it's like, okay, and I don't usually, get into arguments with people or disagree with them. I just let them do what they want to do and enjoy their Mickey D's, enjoy their Big Macs. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, and guess what, though? That's one way of looking at it. I use McDonald's as another way, but sometimes even within the new age community, because people are seeking, you have genuine, sincere seekers out there. They've created this whole sect of new age, which is based off of ancient practices, spiritual practices. That by far to me is just completely ridiculous. Why would you ever call something new age? And it's based off of paradigms and belief systems and spiritual practices and concepts that have been practiced for hundreds and thousands of years. I don't understand. It's very misleading, and it misguides a lot of people. And most of the practices that people call New Age now have become, like, they've been here before the monotheistic religions. It's odd to me. Nothing's new under the sun. We just give it different titles and we change the definitions to our liking. But I find that in the New Age community, conscious community, or spiritual community, we're targeted. We are targeted. I remember when Gaia, that channel came out several years ago in the early, I think 2000s or 2010s, I believe, and they had a lot of good stuff, good useful information for people. It was a different kind of media, and people who could sense and go beyond the veil, but now it's been infiltrated. Now it's just a bunch of information that it's like you're left to decipher and discern what's real, what's true, what's made up, what's myth, what is it? Because not everyone's buying the truth that they're selling us. Not everyone's buying the truth that they're selling these days. You can see it, especially in the entertainment industry. The biggest distraction ever. And I think that that's part of the evolution and the awakening, I guess. And I don't think it's just one monumental moment. I think it's just a whole process. And so, is magic BS? I don't know. It's not. What is BS about the whole new age mystical magical craze that, with the help of the internet kind of blew up in the past 15 years? I will say the selling of it. I believe it's $1 trillion industry, the new age community. The selling of tarot cards, tarot reading, crystals, all these things. And I'm not saying these people shouldn't make a living off of what they're doing. It's just very interesting, man. Like you mine crystals from all around the world and then you put a price tag on it. And it's supposed to help the human evolution. It's supposed to help people who need it the most, but they have to buy it. You can't buy truth. You can only be. Can't even really speak truth. Truth just is. And we are the vessels of that. But anytime people, you use the word magic, people are like, either like you have super duper, people of the book, meaning Muslims, Jews, Christians, they'll condemn you to hell and say, call you a witch and, try to burn you. I mean, not physically anymore, but they'll like cancel you or, but a couple hundred years ago, women had it really bad. Anyone who was practicing, any form of, natural things like natural medicine, healing people, helping people cope with life, and it didn't follow that religious patriarchal paradigm of religion, you're in trouble. But yeah, they use magic all the time, even with the digital, with the AI, constantly. And then the same people. I watched a clip of Neil deGrasse Tyson, actually, and I've read his book back in college. One of his books back in college. It was very well written, and I enjoyed reading about it when I took astronomy. But he literally said that astrology is just complete BS, and I'm like, and that kind of inspired the video here. I'm like, nah, that's. And I could tell he's not one, and maybe he did study on it and it just didn't resonate with them. Because I'll tell you right now, the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire is that the billionaire is hooked to an astrologer. I can tell you that right now. The very people who condemn your practice, your magical, spiritual, conscious practice, whatever that may be, are the very people who practice it. That's the very people who run society with it. Marketing and advertising is, like, if you really get into it and how they psychologically manipulate us, the human collective, yeah, okay. But it's definitely not godly. Some of their practices are definitely not godly. So then what is it? I'm very careful not to condemn Christianity, Judaism, Islam, or other monotheistic religions. I'm very careful because magic is everywhere. Magic is in the words that you speak, the thoughts that you think, the actions that you take or lack thereof. It's not bippity boppity boo. You can use that if that's your thing, wearing a pointy hat and burning sage. Okay, that's fine. But the real work is mastering energy manipulation through thought, through the heart, through the body. Mastering yourself. And another thing, there are magicians out there and people who practice that will take the left-handed path per se, and they will try to manipulate other people without mastering themselves. Right? Those who take that the path of shadow and dark and get stuck there, those are the black magicians, right? Those are those who have a poor intention, ill will, wish ill will on others, and in exchange to get some form of power, depending on the type of stuff that they're getting into. But but they just use it to control other people, and it's all ego. It's pure ego, nothing loving at all. And there's also nothing wrong with the shadow or dark realms of consciousness either. We all must explore it. We all live through it as a human collective. You know what I'm saying? People who actively practice Satanists and stuff like, or Satanism and all that stuff, I avoid them like the plague. But I shouldn't say that. But no, it's just a reflection of consciousness itself. We all have and hold dark and shadow within ourselves, and it's important to dip into those parts of ourselves. But the catch is you don't get stuck there. And people who get stuck there don't know that they're stuck. And they get caught in what I like to call the false light. They get hypnotized. They get high off of energies that do not belong to them. It's something. It's something. But to say we don't live in a magical world, ooh, wow. I don't know. I let people be. I leave people be. And I want to be left alone, let alone too. I'm not like, you know, when I hear a Christian make crack jokes on, oh my gosh, crystals. And it's like, well, okay, don't you guys drink the blood of Christ? Isn't that? You know, because if you're not Christian and you're symbolically calling something the blood of an entity, that's demonic. Okay. And I'm not calling that practice, drinking and swallowing the blood of Christ demonic. I'm not saying that, but it's funny. It's a little weird, But yeah, I'm private with my practice, and I'm learning. I'm strengthening boundaries. I used to be very, very open with how, I was just actively seeking, and I would just be too open. And it's like living in such a magical world and having a magical life, it's all about self-mastery. If you really want to truly get into it and study magic, it's just studying you and your relationship with life and your relationship with consciousness, your relationship with the world, your relationship with the thing that moves through us, which you can call it higher power, God, source. That's all it is. If you're on the, that path of self-mastery, which you can, on that path, you're able to unlock certain abilities. And you can unlock certain abilities with going in the other direction too. They're just not yours. Right? It's a deception. Don't get stuck in the shadow. Don't get stuck in the shadow and the dark. And also a warning, don't get stuck in the light either. Yeah, I said it. Because that's when you do stuff like spiritual bypassing. That's when you become ungrounded, out of body. That's when you hook yourself into the belief system and paradigm of ascension. We're ascending. And with every ascension, if that is your paradigm, be very careful, because with every ascension is a dissension. Right? When the clock strikes 12, that hand's got to hit the 6. So always be in the middle and be in the space of neutrality. Most people don't like that. They want you to pick one side or the other always. They don't want you to be centered. It's either left or right. But if you're truly about self-mastery, you'll learn how to manipulate and to tune into your dark energies as well as your light energies. And you'll learn when to use them. There are some people who come into this world and they're part of their programming, part of their fate, their contracts in this world is to transcend beyond their dark programming, right? Their contract with the dark and the shadow realms of consciousness. Then there are others who come into this world, into this realm, into this life, where they're heavily focusing on the light energies within themselves, within consciousness. And then there are those who want to learn how to balance both. Okay? Either way, you know. And I'm speaking directly to the audience that, you know, you'll, if you get it, if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Okay? If you don't, and this sounds wacky and crazy and out there, okay, do you. I'm not, you know, like, please don't come for my life. Like, I again, you know, and it's always so funny when I'm on other channels and I will see people in the comments who are very Christian and very religious, but they are going in, or they make certain comments on someone who's on a different spiritual path. They're just on a different path. It's like, well, what are you doing here anyway? If you truly are of your faith and you're about your stuff, there's no need to challenge another person unless you carry doubt within yourself. That's true faith. People of true faith, and whatever that may be, religious, spiritual, or whatever, you don't need to prove that you're right to anybody. You don't need to prove you're right to anyone. You allow things to be as they are because you know you are that which you believe. But if you don't really, if your faith is not solid, yeah, you're gonna be making crazy comments on a witch's channel, or yeah, you're gonna be making crazy comments on a Christian's channel because you don't agree with their Christian beliefs, or their, you know, all about their Christ, you know, stuff like that, or their Bible verses and stuff. Yeah, you're gonna be all like, you know. I will say New Agey people tend to be more open to many other different faiths. But if you come straight, if you're on the Christian, Judaism, Islamic path, you're pretty locked in. Everyone's going to hell. Everybody going to hell, and there's nothing you can do. But this video is already a bit too long. But yeah, magic is real. Magic is real. And don't get stuck. Don't get caught up in one area or the other. You know, you don't want to you got to be real careful with that. Because I've met people who are on that light and love and light path, and they're working with light energies, and their whole crown chakra is completely blown up, just blown out. They are gone. They are in a whole nother, somewhere else, not here, not present, not in the body. They're not integrated. Have I been there? Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Not so much on the dark side, too much. But I have. I've had certain experiences for sure. But yeah, you gotta be really careful when you're a seeker. But it's all part of the lesson. It's all part of evolving. So that's it. All right. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you next time.